Morning. Man, we're a little loose today, so I'm just going to let it rip. You guys cool with that? Yeah. All right. So, growth leads to God. Awareness is what I have. Growth leads to God in a very simple term, very simple idea. It, to me, has been fun to try to put this together. It is simple and easy to part of me, and it is daunting to the other part of me, right? And I think it's because we have intertwined some past prejudices or maybe even some junk that we've picked up along the way to really look at growth in God as something that is higher than we can achieve. And I don't believe that is so, and I believe we should look at this going forward as nearer than hands and feet. Our growth opportunities are nearer than hands and feet, and our God is nearer than hands and feet. It is not on a pedestal. It is not unattainable. It is not this ultimately so highly valued, the way we have kind of looked at religion as a group for a very long time, pedestaled spot where we can't be happy and we can't have fun and we can't be a part of everybody that's in our world either. So starting there, we look at growth leads to God. All right, let's have some fun with it, right? Because we're here. God put us here. I think that through lifetimes and through reincarnation and through our practice of spiritual growth, we are supposed to grow. So let's look at it that way. And I think we can all have a spot in our world where we can do this in a very fun, easy, and expressing way. So what is God awareness? What are the truths of God? I see God awareness, and this is me, right? God awareness is love, truth, and harmony. Most of the time because God is indefinable by any human eye, right? Because we are still human, we cannot define traits of God: love, truth, harmony. And if that's where you can find something, I know my personal knowing is that is God in there. So we start with that. The traits of God is love, truth, and harmony. And so if we growth leads to God awareness, growth for us can lead to love, truth, and harmony. And we can look at it in the very minor sense of, I'm going to find love in this road rage situation, or we can look at it in the mega sense of, I'm going to love every person on this world equally, no matter what prejudice or harm has been done, right? So we take that idea into it. It was pretty late, honestly. Usually I have a lot of ideas like week of. Usually I have a lot of ideas maybe the week before, because I get some warning, right? So I get to percolate. Pretty late before anything came to me, and I was sitting in the parking lot, and I'm going, growth, man, this is hard, you know? And I think some of it's hard because maybe I'm stuck in it a little bit myself. And I was like, man, maybe somebody who's grown more than me should do this. And I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm down in here in the trenches with everybody doing it, trying. So why not just speak, right? And I started looking at this tree. I'm sitting in the parking lot up there, and I'm looking at this tree. The tree's only responsibility to this planet is to grow. When the tree grows, when it fulfills its responsibility, it creates shelter, it creates food, it creates support for all of the life around it. It creates, its responsibility is to grow. It creates a space that can shade. It creates a space that can house birds. It creates a hole for the snakes. It creates an environment that is harmonious with life and filled with love. But its only responsibility is to grow. We are trees. We are trees. Our only responsibility to God is to grow. We don't owe any penance. We don't owe anything. We are put on this earth to grow spiritually, to have experiences, and to get higher, better vision, more to love, harmony, and truth. We are trees. Our only responsibility is to grow. And when we grow, we provide shelter and food and sustenance to the world around us. We provide. We grow into being parents. We grow into being teachers. We grow into being all these things. Intellectually, we grow into that. Spiritually, we need to grow into all of that as well. Being the support for the world around us. And it's not our responsibility to be the support. It is not our obligation to be the support. It's our obligation to grow. And all of that other comes. But we we look at growth and we get stuck in the idea that I will be asked to do more or something or whatever when we grow, because we worry about becoming the shelter or the food source or whatever. All we need to do is keep growing, because we will keep growing and keep growing and keep growing, and we'll be something to somebody else or something to something else later and later and later. There's no stop to it. You know? There's no stop to it. You got to keep doing it and keep doing it, and we're going to keep coming back and keep doing it. So don't believe me this time, you'll hear somebody else next time. Or it'll be an experience. You know what I'm saying? It'll be something. So we are the trees. The biggest difference is our roots go up to God. Trees have roots go down. They're in balance with Mother Nature. That visualization of the roots going down and being fed and feeding, our roots go up. Our obligation is to go up, is to be fed through God. And also, as we grow, we can see God more. You know? We can see a little bit higher. And it's effortless for the tree. It's effortless for the tree because they know their one responsibility. We make it goofy for us because we get a lot of other stuff, right? We got brains and free will and feet and legs. We can move around and talk to other trees and bump into other things, right? And we grab all this baggage from all that other stuff and we attach it to whatever we attach it to. But sometimes we stop trying to grow and we stop looking for it and we get stuck a little bit. There's an expression in the Bible, those who build up the race and those who tear it down. Think those who grow and those who are stuck. Because if you're growing, you cannot be building. You cannot be tearing down. You know? Even if the experience may look as if it's destructive, or it may look as if it's a little more aggressive than you would create for yourself, it is probably not tearing down the people that are playing in it, giving them opportunity to grow, right? So it's our responsibility to grow. Serious, I think that is true. To me, that is true. It is our responsibility to grow. We don't owe anything to God. We don't owe anything to us, but we are put here to grow. Let's be some trees. As we grow, we broaden our awareness of the world around us. Is, if we think about it as growing as like a little kid, usually from childhood to 20s, our growth is based on the world around us, right? And as we grow up, we have different experiences, but we always look forward to growth. A little kid looks forward to growing up. A little kid looks forward to going to high school. A little kid looks forward to driving cars. A kid looks forward to that. And they look forward to that, and it allows them a better, more truthful and loving and harmonious relationship with the world around them because they grow up. So they have a different vision of the world around them. The possibilities open up. All this other stuff becomes available. As we grow spiritually, our vision comes up. And all of these experiences, we can see at a higher level, and we can find love, and we can find truth, and we can find harmony, instead of staying down here in this stuck spot where we just get mad at each other over and over again because we really don't see the truth behind the junk. You ever getting your head bitten off by somebody you care about? And most of us, me included, many, many times, I'd say 9% of the time, we bite right back. We bite right back. And as we grow, we start to see like, man, I know they were stressed out about the next thing they had to do the next day, and kids yelling at them, and everybody's asking for a bunch of stuff, and they bit my head off, and I just immediately bit it right back instead of seeing the truth of the situation, and then finding the love, which creates the harmony. I could say, oh man, okay. Step away, do something, right? That God awareness is there, and it's in that minor experience. And the thing is, that minor experience creates our lives. All right, soapbox, get off of that. If we can see the truth of the situation, we can respond in harmony. If we can see the truth, we can respond in love. If we can see that, we can create the world that's going to support everything around us, right? But the growth is part of that. And we're not going to get stuck in experiences and how they can grow. We all know, does everybody understand in here that all the experiences you have are opportunities for growth? And I am going to say all, and I know we've had some heavy ones. Those heavy ones are heavy. The light ones are powerful still too. All these experiences are there for us to grow, and we can get stuck in being mad or whatever. We didn't grow from it. If we can see the truth above, we can find some of that. We have a journey of growth. This is where I'm at, right? Here's my section. We have this journey of growth, I think, where we go in. And so growth is the awareness of God, right? Or let me see this title again. Growth leads to God awareness. I'm trying to stay on track here. Growth leads to God awareness. So if growth leads to God awareness, does not God lead to growth? If the energy flows up, does it not flow down? It does. So this is the growth journey that I maybe I'm the only one who's experienced it this way. You don't have to raise your hand, but maybe just tell me after so I don't feel alone. Yeah, you grow, right? You get in it. You get into it. Something happens. You have an experience that kicks off this, I'm going to grow. And you have these experiences, and you turn to God. Whether you know you don't or not, you turn to the traits of God. You start looking for truth. You start looking for love. You start looking for harmony. Because whatever catalyst started it initiates that. And you're looking and you're facing with God, and you're really hand in hand, whether you want to admit it or not. And you're going up this rocket ship, and life is awesome. And the job is getting better. You're getting the raises. You're getting what you want there. The love life is great. You have this moment of just, bang, I'm getting it. Life has gotten God. And I'm awesome at it. And then right here. And then this is what I like to call a plateau. This is a teaching here. I've learned it here. The plateau. As we're growing up, right? This plateau is this nice, beautiful space. And there's tons of people high-fiving you on it. That's the best part. Because you've done so good. So you get all this adoration and love, and it's just a really cool place. And you get really comfortable here. You get really comfortable here. And then you start to just kind of walk around this plateau. And in the beginning, you think you're still growing because you're still moving. But we're walking around and we're bouncing from place to place, getting our little love hits. We're getting our little things that's supporting us. But less and less, it is fulfilling our actual hearts. More and more, it's fulfilling our lower self, as we would like to say. It is fulfilling that temporary. It is fulfilling the non-truth. It is fulfilling the, not disharmony, but it is starting to get harder and harder to find harmony in this place. And we go, why is this so hard right now? Because I was awesome to get here. I was awesome to get here. And then we have this tendency to then just go, I have this tendency, I'm going to admit it in front of everybody, to start getting a little mad. And maybe lashing out at stuff that we love dearly. And maybe not wanting to go to church anymore. Or looking at church as an obligation and not as a place that actually feeds me. Or looking at God as something that is, oh man, I was doing it all by myself anyway, you know? And we just get in there and we just do this. And we're doing this. And we're doing this. And we're doing this. And the more we do this, the more we start we're walking, we're moving, we're doing things, but the job is taxing. The accomplishments are burdens now because you can't fail, because you've set an expectation. The burdens are now heavy. The people around you are heavy. The kids are getting heavy. The wife's getting heavy. Everything is getting heavy. We're getting stuck on this plateau, and we go, why? 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 Because we know we're supposed to be growing. And we're just stuck doing this. And it's not bad, but I would venture to say that nobody in this room, everybody else out in the world, spends much of their life on the plateau. Years and years and years and years. Not on the same one, but on the same plateau. And then we go up, get on the next one. Go up and get on the next one. I know people that have stayed on a plateau. Again, nobody in here. For their whole life. And that's when that becomes, why? And that's when people do get mad at church. That's when people do get mad at God. That's when people do get mad at this, because the link between God and growth are instant. If you are on a plateau, and this is what I do. This is what I do. If you're on a plateau, find God somewhere. Because a lot of times on the plateau, you don't know what to do, right? You don't know how to fix it. Because you have everything you wanted. You guys ever heard the term, like, don't look for money, like, oh, I'll only be happy if I get this, or I'll only be happy if I get this, or I'll only be happy if I get this. You guys are happiest on the way to it. You're happiest on the way to it because you plateau on the top. And you, me, all of us, we plateau on the top, and that's where we get lost and we get angry and we get mad. So my deal on the plateau is I just come. I show up here. And whatever it feels like, right? I'm going to come, right? I'm just going to show up. I like to think my plateaus at least have a little bit of a lean to them. Because I'm at least looking for God. And I know that God and growth go hand in hand. Growth leads to God. God leads to growth. Vice versa. It is the same energy, the same tunnel of energy. It feeds and we feed. It is a transaction that is unstoppable. So I always look for God, and this is in my brain, this is where I kind of go, all right, it's the God grind, right? Because sometimes it is, you have to have that discipline and that discipline. They're called disciples for a reason. You have to have that ability to grind in it sometimes to always try to find it so that it can lead to your growth. But like, it's one of those things. I hope I didn't bring everybody too down. Now, it's supposed to be funny. But plateaus they're awesome at the beginning, and then we get mad at them at the end because we stop growing in the middle. At least put a lean on yours. I hope there's a lean on mine. So, if growth leads to God awareness and ultimately God leads to growth, how do we grow? And I kind of look back at the tree. We tend to have this let me read this. I was debating whether to read this or not. I don't want you guys to get stuck in the non-metaphysical view of this scripture. So I'm going to read this scripture, and it's awesome. It's like two of my favorite chapters in the Aquarian. It's when Jesus is a baby and John's a baby, and they've fled to Egypt because Herod's trying to kill all the babies because the new Christ is born, right? And the mothers Elizabeth and Mary are getting taught by Elihu and Salome. And this part of the scripture is very much, to me, a way to continue to ensure that we're focusing on growth. And this is Elihu's talking to the ladies, the moms. And of course, we always teach the moms because the moms will pass that on. The dads will take that knowledge, run, and make money off of it, and never come back. It's a joke. All right. So again, Elihu met his pupils in the sacred grove and said, "No man lives unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand loved in return. They will not do unto other men what they would not have other men do unto them." Here's the part, and I'll make a point, so don't get lost in morality, please. There are two selves, the higher self and the lower self. The higher self is human spirit clothed with soul, made from the form of God. The lower self is the carnal self. The body of desires is a reflection of the higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. It's a reflection of your higher self. It's not bad. It's just distorted with the world. You know? The lower self is illusion and will pass away. The higher self is God in man and will not pass away. The higher self is the embodiment of the truth. The lower self is the truth reversed and is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is mother of virtues and harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasures, joy, and satisfying gains, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell, and their cores are full of bitterness and gall. I'm so glad I'm reading this. If you would ask me to study, what to study, I would say yourselves. And when you had studied them, and then you asked me what to study next, I would say yourselves. He who knows his lower self knows illusions of the world, knows the things that will pass away. And he who knows his higher self knows God, knows well the things that cannot pass away. I did not read this to talk about morality. I read this to talk about growth. How do we grow? Which self do we look to feed? Which part of that do we look to feed? The stuff that is temporary, the things that make us feel good a little bit and then we get mad at later because we don't want them no more? Do we feed our higher selves? The trees don't run away from the shade. They lean towards the sun. They look to be fed because they're trying to grow. So we need to feed ourselves. We need to feed our higher self. How do we do that? There was a whole service on the desires from the heart are from God. Feed the desires of your heart. Feed the things that are truthful. Feed the experiences that provide love and harmony. Like let's talk a lower self, higher self example. Buying a car, because we like our stuff. I'm not saying don't do your stuff, right? Buying a car, right? What are you buying the car for? Is it feeding your higher self, or is it feeding that temporary? Right? Is it feeding something that is going to allow you to grow? Is it an experience that's going to allow you to grow? Is it an experience that you're going to eventually just with? Right? It's that feeding that higher self and really looking for the desires from our heart. So in the tree example, I look at the tree. The sun is that desire from the heart, and the tree leans towards it. The shade is that experience that we know may be temporary and not fulfilling, and the bitterness of the apple. We all know it, and I know you know which experiences those are for you. Right? But we tend to go, hey, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Don't do doesn't work. Feed what is a real, true desire from your heart. Feed that higher self, and look for God. When you're on the plateau, you look for God. When you find it, gritted teeth or not, white-knuckled or not, feed it something. Growth, all right, let's say if I give you a kid that's a tiny baby kid, what's the first thing you're going to try to do? Feed it. If I give you a plant, what's the first thing you're going to try to do? Feed it. The things that we grow, think about it. The things that we grow in our world, what do we do to them? We feed them. Feed ourselves. Feed our higher selves. Feed our heart desires. And we will continue to grow. And those plateaus, man, if you're on them, just see it and then try to find some God and it'll help you get off. It'll help you get off, or at least put a lean on it. The spiritual grind. You got to have a little bit of it or you're not going to finish. Who's spiritually elderly in here? Don't you have to have some grind? I'm serious. I meant that in a spiritual way. That's why I said spiritually elderly. Come on. Spiritually wise. Try not to do the don't do's, man. They don't work. They don't work for yourself. They don't work for other people you yell them at. Feed. Look for God. Look for God. Feed your desires. The heart desires come from God. If growth leads to God awareness, God leads to growth. Look for it and feed it. Cool with it? Yeah. Let's go within. Just take a breath. And envision a column light coming down over you, and I want you to allow that column to feed you down through your head, down into your shoulders, into your chest, into your heart, down into your belly, knees, all the way out through your feet. And in this space, be open to be fed. God is feeding you now. And feel it from the head to the toes. The sustenance, the support, the love. Now I want you to focus on your heart and call forth a heart's desire. Call forth a heart's desire. And when you have it, if you're willing, feed it from yourself. This opportunity brought forth is a way for us to grow. It's our personal way. And my prayer is that we cherish these and we feed them as much as possible. And God, help us protect and grow this and be transmuted to carry around the stuff that the world says about it so that we don't have to struggle to grow. Now send love to this desire. Send love to your desire. By growing this desire, we're growing spiritually. Now I want you to put your desire back in your heart. Give thanks for the food. And in this space, we are grateful to interact with each other. We're grateful to be down here. We're grateful to grow. We're grateful to grow. And so it is. Well, I hope my blue pen worked. I was worried. I hope it made sense. I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna keep trying to grow. You guys with me? Yes. Thanks. See.